Yes, I wanted with the ugliest costume on stage.
Evviva!
Let's do the
Simon Boccanegra, first of all, is an opera that by total happenstance I fell in love with when I was about 13 years old. And the idea today that Placido and I are collaborating on it is an extraordinary moment for me. And besides which, it just so happens that Placido and I never did a Verdi opera together.
Out of the 26 opera of Verdi, I have done good 20. I did the tenor part, of course, but I was always dreaming. When I was doing the tenor part, I was always dreaming if one day I could do Boccanegra.
I love Placido Domingo and have all my life, and I started out as a fan. In fact, I was at his New York City opera debut in Don Rodrigo together with my brother when we were both students. We were babies practically.
I do believe that Boccanegra is one of his best roles. And Verdi loves so much Boccanegra. I think it was his favorite opera.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to start at big number 6, which is the finale of Act
1. This is an opera about conflict, peacemaking, reconciliation. Simon Boccanegra is a peacemaker. The opera spans 24 years. Simon Boccanegra is elected Doge on the very day that his beloved Maria dies. Her father, whose name is Fiesco, will not forgive Simon Boccanegra for the responsibility of the birth of a child who is now lost. And he says, there will be no peace between us until and if you bring me that child, which Simon can't do because the child has gone missing. When we come back 24 years later, we are going to see that Simon Boccanegra, by accident, will discover that another woman who has grown up under an assumed identity is in fact his daughter.
In this occasion, which we have a terrific cast, Elia Moginski directing, and with a cast like Ana Maria Martinez, which the public is really waiting too long since the last time she was here. Then Stefano Secco is making his debut with us with great success. And Vitali Kovaltio, which of course public remember for his big monumental ring that we were involved, his Wotan.
And we have one piece of deluxe, and I underline deluxe casting, and that is Paolo Gavanelli's presence as Paolo. Now Paolo the person, sings Simon Boccanegra, and he has accepted to sing Paolo with us, I think as an homage very much so to Placido. And Paolo is not a secondary part. In fact, he's the villain. He is the puppet master, and he is the first person in the opera to sing, and he is present right up until the last act where he is being walked off to his execution. A great deal of the function of the conductor, at least in my opinion, is first of all to inspire, to inspire everyone to play and sing their best, and to provide an atmosphere of security in which they can do just that, especially with singers, because singers have a very complicated job. You've got to sing, you've got to run around the stage, you have to remember everything, and you know the voice is a very fragile instrument. One day it's good, one day it's not so good. So singers need to feel and to know that they have somebody on the podium who's not going to complicate that.
With James, we understand each other perfectly well. And I think the greatness of an opera conductor is when he understands and anticipates what is going to happen.
He knows every aspect of music and the art, and he knows how to play with it. He knows how to be spontaneous. And you can feel him almost communicating this. It comes out of him by some extra dimension. So he's enormously exhilarating to conduct.
If you have sensibility for the artist, you can intuit when a singer needs faster tempo,
Pensa, 3, 4, pa.
slower tempo,
Too fast. Just a little bit.
pause. You have to know them. You have to know the needs of a singer. And with James, we are really, really at home.
Thank you very much, everyone. That's the end of the rehearsal. This is 2 before H.
One thing that I say always when I am in a company, working with a director, with a conductor, with my colleagues, I said I am a good soldier. I go with a clean mind to work in a production. And I hope to receive from the director and from the conductor so much understanding between what we have to do together that it will be a pleasure always. I always say to him, I admire him so much. When we are blocking things, when he stops me in his way of stopping you, when he wants to correct you something, I always say, Lion, I always hope that I'm doing something that is not entirely right for you, because then you stop me. And we work every new detail, new things, that it will give us possibilities, not only for a performance, but for the series of performances.
When he's at the door.
Yeah.
Maria, you're over here. Can you come down here? Now, turn round. See the size of your shadow?
Yeah.
You're looming over Boccanegra. That's it.
I metaphorically.
Yeah, see that?
The entire opera is beautiful, deep, moving. There is one scene that stands out, and it is right in the middle of the opera, and it's the so-called council chamber scene, and it is a stunning, hair-raising finale to the first half of the opera.
I'm Charles Currier, I'm the fight director. We've got a lot of moving parts, and it's the first time we've done this particular Verdi here, so we're all very excited. Based from what we saw last night, I mean tonight when we get the chorus back and we have to get them on stage in that brief window, we're going to learn a lot about what's possible. Today we're going to explore our options. Well, what we have is a mob scene, Occupy Genoa, if you will. We have a group of people that are coming to protest what the nobles have done and the bad deals the middle class and the poor are getting. And the central character, Simone Boccanegra, is in a way perhaps inviting this confrontation. But we have the nobles, we have the group of humanity that's coming to protest, and it enters this council chamber and it gets ugly. And so what we're developing here is that initial standoff. Guards are trying to protect the council. The mob wants to tear the place up and destroy this seat of power. And in the middle of it all will be the character Simone Boccanegra making the deal to try and have these two opposing forces somehow work it out. So from there, I'm going to create that opening, crack, as a specialist in this, you do a lot of research. There are historical manuals of defense, but most of those were written by and for very wealthy people. And so we kind of come up with a catalog of moves that are appropriate for someone who's supposed to be a very well-trained captain of the guard versus someone who's a rough and tumble guy who works on the docks. What the fun of it is for me is, and my colleagues here, is that we are combining all these different physical and artistic talents, and this whole crazy thing happens.
This is an extraordinary scene. All of the soloists are present in that scene. This is when we see Simon Boccanegra as head of state in holding together the court, the patricians, the plebeians, putting down an uprising of the people. Here we see him in his grandeur.
There are certain roles that moves you very much. I remember yesterday being in the console scene, and I was brought to tears in a moment. Then after I had to approach the chorus, when I approached the chorus, I saw about 7 or 8 people in the chorus crying. So the importance of moving your own colleagues and the people that is on the stage, and that they move you also to tears, and sometimes it's dangerous, it might betray your throne. But so what? If it's emotion, I mean, it's great. If we are moved by what is happening, we are sure the public will be also. That's our duty and our pleasure to do. The magic is made already the day they go to buy tickets. It develops into so much anticipation. I know that the voice is fragile, that we have these 2 vocal cords. And the night, the public is expecting very, very much.
We're backstage at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion awaiting the curtain of the first act of today's performance.
And then arrives the day, and then it is a kind of a communion between the public and the stage. You see the strength of the novelty of this fabulous character. And it makes a perfect showpiece for singing and acting. So it's one of the roles that I always looking forward to do, and it's a dream role, to be able to do it.
And it's a great pleasure to be joined by Maestro James Conlon, who will conduct this afternoon's performance of Simon Boccanegra. Maestro, welcome.
Thank you. The last hour before every performance here at LA Opera, for me, means speaking to our audience. I give a pre-opera talk, exactly 45 minutes on the opera. I then head directly back to my office, tidy up my tie if I need to. The librarian takes the score down to the pit, and then I make a tour quickly of all the dressing rooms to say good evening or good afternoon to the artists, ask them if they have any needs. It's just the human contact, I think, is very important. That those who've got to get up and sing have confidence in the human being who is down there leading it all by sort of remote control.
James Conlon now arriving at the orchestra pit, greeted by the opera orchestra, also warmly embraced by the audience as well. That's Giuseppe Verdi's Simon Boccanegra, live from LA Opera and Classical KUSC.
My gloves. I said, why? I believe that everything in the opera, from first aid and you arrive to rehearsals until the performances, is important. You always think you have a lot of time, and then you start working and you realize there is not so much time.
one of Placido's, or I should say, one of the aspects of his genius is his complete legibility when he performs. You can feel the spontaneity of the moment because he himself so brilliantly projects it to you. In other words, he's a very easy artist to conduct.
They have asked me when I bow, you know? I don't bow and go with my eyes down to the floor. I don't take out the eyes from the audience. And I think it is the moment of complicity. The whole evening, for you, the audience is something that you don't look at. It's a mystery. You don't know who is there. You don't want to see faces. You don't want to identify people. So and at the end, these people is enjoying it, what you have done. And even if it takes me sometimes to come back from my character, and I like to look at them and see the reactions. And little by little, like in the third time I come out of work, I start to relax and I can smile and we can continue that relation. I think it's very important at the end and you connect.